Welcome to Game Bird Spotlight, a presentation of the North American Game Bird Association. And the idea here is we're bringing to you ideas, inspiration, information, and issues affecting the game bird industry. I have several guests today, and we have pre-recorded these presentations. We are going to hear from 4 of them. I encourage you to hang in there with me through the whole 4 presentations. The issue here today is we go to another farm, we put our crates on the ground, we contaminate their space, they contaminate our boxes, and then we bring disease back home. How do we safely transport a load without having any contamination whatsoever? So today we're going to first hear from Troy Laudenslager. I'll bring him up and we will play this, and it is not working. Well, about your products, our concern has been, we now know avian influenza is real, it's with us. We need to protect ourselves. So we're looking for ways that we can avoid bringing something back to our home farm or taking it to our customer by having something that we can disinfect in between uses. And your plastic boxes, I believe, are one solution. So why don't you tell us about what you have and what are the benefits of each one?
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So my name is Troy Laudenslager. I'm from 3T Products and Mock-and-Tungle Game Farms. Our farm has been raising birds since 1935, and we started our 3T Products business in 2007 to develop crates for our farm that then we could also sell to other producers. So we arrived at the products we have here today through all the experimenting and design work we did on our own farm. So as you mentioned, wooden crates, that was the standard. That's what everybody had available to them for years. We used wooden crates up until we developed this injection molded crate is what we currently use. We have 2 different sizes. Our first attempt at going to plastic was this crate on the left. This was about 15 years ago, and I can tell you some of the positives and negatives that we found working with plastic, because there are different processes when you want to go to plastic that have positives and negatives. So this first crate, it was rotational molded. It's molded the same process that our 900 and 450 pound feeders, our 120 pound feeder. We also do a nest box out of this material. I've been using it for many, many years, and we know this plastic is as durable as you're going to get. It is certainly wonderful, but has a low tooling cost as far as our manufacturing side, but the piece price is, because it's 1 unit at a time, it's extremely slow and cost prohibitive to do in large quantities. In contrast, injection molded crates, this is where you see a lot of other poultry style crates. This has a tooling cost that's probably 10 times what it is for a rotation molded tool, but the piece prices are much, much more cost effective. So eventually we just had to make that commitment and say, what do we like about each one? And we just have to either do it or don't do it. So we've gotten to the point where we just pulled the trigger and we got this injection molded crate. On our first attempt, some of the things we liked and didn't like. Durability was wonderful. Lightweight was wonderful. We went from a 12 to 15 pound box to a box here that's only about 5 to 6 pounds, depending on how much plastic you put in the tool. But here it's made out of one solid geometric shape, and you have to machine everything you want. So we had to cut a hole in the front, and you would have to set up jigs and cut all of these holes. To get a handle, you're again cutting a different type shape. So the labor that was involved was pretty intensive. We knew with this style crate, we didn't have a way for rigidity. If you stand on these things or get any kind of down pressure, stack them high, we noticed this would start to collapse. So we had to leave some material top and bottom. But as soon as we did that, you see this lip that's created. Now any rain, manure, anything else, when you go to wash it, now you have basically a bathtub inside. And it's all dictated by how deep you cut this. So when we first looked at nesting crates, we liked this design. This is how most every crate you buy is nested. And it's great because right now you lift up the front and you can drag it out really easy. You put it on top and it goes back, it hits basically a stop and it drops in. It's perfect. But with rotational molding, I'm going to flip this over. You see that whatever shape you have on the outside, it's also the same shape on the inside. So if we would have done a similar style crate, injection molded, now you have a really deep bathtub to get the same way to interlock. So we did the opposite, and that was great. Now we have a raised area inside. The water stays around the perimeter. Still difficult to get out, but now sliding in and out, there's a little bit of a catch. So we made some slopes to try and make it easier to nest on and off, but it just doesn't lock in because you have no straight sides like you would see on this style crate here. Getting water into this crate is still a problem. You just don't have the holes and you have no way to get it out. When you have all those edges, it only has one spot to leave. So washing was definitely the biggest problem with this crate. Pulling water inside, getting any kind of strength, all those things were negatives. The injection molding gave us a lot of benefits. So on this one now, you see when you look inside, we have a big wide opening for any kind of dirt to come out with the hole sizes we have on the sides. You can get water in really, really easy. We went to a modular design here. We could do one opening, that was about it for strength. Here you can see the pieces that make up the crate. You have a bottom, you have a top. Here you can see the corners. So one piece here, you just flip it over for all four of your sides. And now you have 4 equal holes. One on the front, one on the back, and then one on each of the sides. And now the purchaser can decide how easy they want this to wash, whether you're washing by hand, whether you have a crate washing system, which we can go over a little bit later. Shipping was one of the nice factors of this crate. We're going to just show you how they would ship. So right now, here's one box with a crate in it. Here's a second box. When we had rotational molded crates, you had to ship them on a skid as is. Expensive for shipping. These, you show up and put it together and order how you want it. Here's 2 crates. So when we want to show you how they would be coming, you open up your box. Here you can see a little set of directions.
So
Here
it's an erector set. You get it, you put it together however you want.
That's exactly right. So here you can see we would have the top, bottom, and there are your corners. You pick and choose whether you want a solid panel. We have the flip door that you'll be able to put in. And I believe we have a hinge door is actually already on the crate. Here's one underneath. Here's a hinge door that you can mount it right hand swing. You can mount it left hand swing. This door can go on any of the openings. You can have 4 hinge doors if you want. You can have three solid panels, 1 hinge door, just a flip door. You order it with how you're going to try and keep things clean. Everything would ship you. Very cost effective.
Okay, so with your smaller box, what are you thinking for breeds that are able to be in that box?
So first, from the box, these 2 are identical size. This is the same size as our wooden box. We have a Mongolian breed, which is probably the largest breed of pheasants that people would have. We would put 5 males in this box. You can see it's 16 inches wide, 24 inches long, or 6 hens could go in the box. On our smaller blueback / Chinese breed that you would have, we would put 6 males in a box or 8 females in a box.
Okay, with your larger boxes,
Yep.
you're still marketing that one.
Yep, we got a request for larger boxes because some people that build them out of wood, they didn't have this smaller size, so they wanted one that was almost twice as big. We do not use this on our farm, but we've been selling it now here. This is 1 year so far. We're in our 2nd year, I believe, you could almost say. So this one, all the same parts, we just had to do a wider door. People wanted to be able to do 10 birds because they said that's easy to count, easy to load. So we know this one can for sure handle 10 of about any size. If you want to do up to 12, I think it's doable. 14 would probably be your top end if it's all hens.
Okay, now you take this bird or these crates and wash them. How do you do that?
Yeah, so washing them, and when we were starting to do them all by hand, we had one opening here on the side, but pretty well you can wash it whether it's a machine or not. We like to put it on top of something because you want everything to go out at the end. So you can either wash it this direction. I can see the opening. If you have it up in the air on something, then the debris falls out the bottom. But we would try and wash down through it this direction. You could go on the end this way if you want. It's just a little taller because you can get the wand in a lot easier. But either way, when we wash them on machine, we wash them on end going through. And our website, which is pagamebirds.com, you would go to a link in there called Biosecurity. So under the Biosecurity tab, you're going to see our entire biosecurity process from returning back to the farm, how we wash our trucks, our crates, our entrances for locker rooms, how we shuttle vehicles. So there'll be a good description on the game farm side of what to do. But there you can see the washer and see how the jets go in and do it. But if you're at still the stage of washing by hand, you're just trying to pick a side, whatever is easy enough for the size one you've got, and you're just trying to just flush it straight through.
Wonderful. All right, I think this is going to be a big step for folks keeping their farms from getting contaminated by being at other farms. It's very important.
Yeah, and that's the step we've taken now. We just, your biggest risk is probably bringing something back to the farm. You can do all the biosecurity one, keeping visitors out and everywhere else, but when you leave your farm, that's when you have the greatest chance of picking something up coming back. Because you don't know where all the people are that are visiting the place where you're delivering. You don't know if they got birds from another supplier. So you definitely want to try and wash these before you bring them back. If you are hauling your own birds, washing the inside of the crate isn't as critical. If you're brokering any birds, that's more of an issue. If you picked up birds at another farm and you're going to go back to your farm to another farm, you don't know if those birds are shedding virus. Inside is most important to clean. If you're hauling your own birds and you knew they went in clean and they left, when you get to your delivery location, I'd say the outside of your crate is the next most important because was this crate touching anything? If somebody helped you unload, did they have virus on their fingers? All of the exterior is going to pick up any bacteria. Here on these crates for rigidity, you see the fins. If you take this crate and you stick it down in the manure mud, you want to make sure you wash the bottom of this in addition to the inside. But here you can see it's easy to spin around the sides. It's a smooth top, but definitely focus mostly on the outside. I'd say the idea was discussed among the industry that if you can have a disposable tarp that you can put down in somebody's pen and you say, don't walk on that at all, that's just going to be the set crates as you're dumping them before they go back in your trailer. Just avoid contact with any kind of manure or anything else. Leave the tarp, leave whatever you can. If you need to wear a gown, gloves, anything disposable you can. If it's a high-risk area, leave whatever you can at the farm. Spray tires when you leave the property and wash up before you get home.
Of Kuhl Corporation, again, another one of our board members for the North American Game Bird Association. Rick, thank you for your time and for your knowledge in this area. We're talking about how, now that we know avian influenza is here, it is a major concern for our industry. How do we move forward to continue our industry? We've got things that we've done for years. Point in case, our wooden crates.
Yep.
And we're finding in our farm, wooden crates don't cut it anymore because it's hard to sanitize them. Your thoughts on that?
Well, that's pretty much the main point right there is wood crates are pretty hard to sanitize. If you do sanitize them, you eventually lose the structure of them very fast. That's why we moved from wood crates about 40 some years ago to plastic crates. Plastic crates are very easy to clean. You can clean them in many different ways. I have customers that'll use kiddie pools with soap, power wash, regular hose, or maybe even just a sponge. So they are very sanitary. The polypropylene that they are built with is very strong, so they will last and will last longer than the wood crates do now because of the avian influenza.
Right. Well, what do you offer as far as plastic crates?
Well, we have many different sizes. So for the smaller birds, like the quail, we have quail size crates. For the pheasants, we have about 5 to 6 different offerings in those, and 2 different offerings for turkey and duck size crates. So we have variety of options at a variety of prices, where we try to keep them as cheap as we possibly can, anywhere from $40 to now $100. So
So pretty much doable for any price point somebody needs, right?
Yes.
Okay. I put your website across the bottom here. I'm going to actually scroll it
All right.
across the bottom so people can see that and know that they can go to your website and find the different ones that you offer. I've got the wrong one, excuse me, right there. Okay.
Yeah. And going to the website, if you go to the poultry division, we call them our transport coops. I know people call them crates. We list them as transport coops. Underneath the transport coop section, all of ours are listed right there.
Okay. And you manufacture your own so that you have control over the materials in them and where they come from and all of that.
All of them are made with polypropylene, which is very strong and can withstand most soaps. The only things that seem to cause some sort of damage is if you use bleach or chlorine. If you use bleach or chlorine, that is fine, but you want to make sure you have a secondary just water wash off of it, because if you let that sit on there, it will diminish the strength of it. But any other soaps, whether it be dish soap, laundry soap, whatever type of soap you decide to use, it'll work with that.
Do you sell disinfecting products?
We actually do not, because like I said, we find that many people will use Storgaard brand products, and it's a lot cheaper for them to buy from the store brand, like your local grocery store or even like a Home Depot or something like that, than it would be from us. So we do not provide that, but it's easily obtainable. Either use like general soaps, or there are like soaps sold at hardware stores for plastics, metals, things like that. So you can use those as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That kiddie pool idea, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we think we got to have some big machine or something to run them through, or it's going to take a lot, but I never thought about using a kiddie pool.
Yeah, we do offer big machines too that do clean these, but for people that are either just starting out or have smaller flocks, it would not be worth it. So either kiddie pool, power wash, easy and simple.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we appreciate your input. We appreciate your support of the whole industry. I know that in the big scheme of things, game birds may not be the biggest client that you have, but we certainly do appreciate your support.
Well, thank you, Peg.
Okay, and we will end on that note. I'm going to talk to Mark Frederick of Frederick Packaging. They are in Wisconsin and produce a product that may be of interest for those who don't want to invest in the plastic but want to have a transport box. And Mark, I'll let you explain. First of all, tell us a little bit about the history of the company and yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Peg. My name is Mark Frederick, and I've had Frederick Packaging up here outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin for about 3 or 4 decades. We're actually a 47-year-old company, and we're in the corrugated box business. We do a number of other packaging items, but when it relates to what NAGA is looking for right now with corrugated shipping boxes, we've been doing that and members of North American Game Bird Association for about 25 years. I started out in the poultry industry, shipping. Our boxes were used for shipping chicks throughout the country. And then we morphed into serving the game bird industry. And that's where I came upon NAGA 25 years ago.
That's
and
right.
Found that we had some boxes that would ship chicks, the pheasant, chucker, partridge, quail chicks in. And then we did that for years with 3 or 4 different sizes of those boxes. And then we came up with an idea about an adult transport box, where I'll show you what it is now. We developed this box to ship adult birds in. And it's become more important now with an avian influenza problem in the industry. And so this is a box we came up with, and it's a die cut box. So we own the die, and we print on there on the end of the box lives. So you know that you got to take special care of it. So here's what the box looks like. It's an end loading box where you load the game birds in this side, right? And then the flaps will hold the birds in there. And actually, this is the side where the flaps are. You'll see you load the birds in on this end, and the birds can't get out after you put them in there because there's some resistance with the corrugated. So you just snap it shut after you put 6 to 8 pheasants in there, or quite a few more of the quail, right?
Right.
The ventilation holes all around the box are 1 inch. The bottom is solid, okay? And it's made out of reinforced corrugated. It's a specialty paperboard that we use because, frankly, you're shipping a lot of very important lives in here, right?
Right.
You can use some more vertical stacking strength. That'll help. So you buy a box, a corrugated shipping paper box, for 2 reasons: to contain something and to give you some degree of stacking strength. Okay. So this box measures about 17 inches left to right, about 8 inches tall, and 26 inches deep, a little over 2 feet. And again, you have the 1 inch holes on 4 sides, on the ends, and on the width panel, and on the top, but the bottom's solid. Okay. So the main thing is you can get your birds off the farm one way without having to worry about containers or whatever the industry has used in the past that would come back to your farm, which could possibly contaminate it, right? So you don't want that. This is a one-way transportation. It's a disposable corrugated shipping box that you have your customer take off the farm with you. Now, it's not a cheap date. It costs several dollars, and it's going to cost several dollars to ship it to you, right? So you're going to have cost. But I would advise the producers and the hatchers and the clubs that ship these birds, right? The producers, to charge the customer for the service, because it's a convenience for them as well. So that's what the big thing is keeping the package from coming back to you. It's one way, it's disposable, it's off your property.
Right. And I think customers do understand in this day and age, if you want this bird, you're going to pay for the box. There are quite a few products that you can use, like the plastic crate, but they all have to come back, and then the farm has to disinfect them. This way, they're gone, they're paid for, and the cost, if you start thinking in terms of this as a price per bird, how many birds would it take? How many birds would you have to lose to warrant this, or save to warrant the cost of this box? So I think it's a good cost-effective way. In fact, on our farm, that's what we're doing. We have farms that we're meeting a customer in a big box store parking lot. We're taking the box, handing it across the tailgate. It goes on somebody else's truck. We're not touching their truck. We're not touching their crates. We're not on their farm. They're not on our farm. And it's a good border security kind of way to transport birds without putting yourself at risk. Awesome.
And the other point I'd like to make, Peg, about this particular box is because it's die cut and the way we designed it, you don't have to use any tape to seal it. You don't have to use any glue to seal it. You don't have to use any staples to seal it.
Which is a good plus. We've had the stapler method, yes.
It's all right here. And the box is surely it's glued together right here, but it comes pre-formed. So here's what it looks like, flat, right? When it comes to you, and it's on a bale. So we wrap the individual cartons in bundles of 10 and put them in bales of 100. Put them on a pallet, and we have to use truck to ship it to the farms in the rural areas throughout the country.
And we all know trucking costs are going up, postage is going up. We can see the big pallets behind you of the corrugated boxes and understand that they could come in bulk or they could come as few as you need, I would think.
In fact, here's what the product looks like when it's shipped. If you can see this, they're bundled in 10 typically right here, and then they're baled in 100 in the background there. You can kind of see. So
wonderful.
It's about the size of a pallet. We can get 300 or 400 of these boxes on one pallet. And I can tell you to ship one pallet from Wisconsin, where we are, we're right outside of Milwaukee, one pallet, 300 to 400 boxes to the middle of the country, whether it's Kansas or Kentucky or North Dakota or Ohio. It would probably be for one pallet. Again, trucking, it could be $600 or $700 for a pallet. So those are real costs. And I do the best I can on the front end to negotiate with the LTL truck carriers, because that was my background for 13 years. I was in that business. That's where I kind of cut my teeth in business. But the price of diesel, everybody, if you're farmers, you know what the price of diesel, it's over $5 a gallon and it's not going down. Well, newsflash, trucks run on diesel, right?
Right.
That's what that's about. So there's some high costs there that I don't particularly care for, because I want to get the best rate I can,
right,
to give NAGA users the best deal I can get and the lowest cost on the box.
To put that in perspective, $600 if you're charging $15 per bird, that's going to be 40 birds that you've just used to make sure that your whole farm doesn't get depopulated because of avian influenza. I think that's a good deal. You know, we're all facing additional costs, but you pass what you need to on to your customers, and that's a couple, $2, $3 per box. So you charge $5 per box for them to take their birds home, knowing that you're not going to have disease come back to your farm. Mark, is there anything else you want to add before we close off here?
Well, one little thing. When I started NAGA people, it was in shipping the chicks. Okay, right. So I've got some great options for chick boxes, and I just wanted to show you the main one that we use in the game bird industry. This is called a 4-compartment box, where you put the birds inside the 12 by 9 inch compartment for transport. It's a 3-piece box. Again, it's die cut, so you don't have any taping or stapling or gluing. There's 4 quadrants here. They're each 9 by 12 inches. Then you've got a set of partitions in there. Good corner stacking strength with the design there you can kind of see. And then a tray style cover. We have a flat cover. Small checkered partridge quail, they're 1/2-inch holes, okay? But we do have a 5/8 inch hole box that is oftentimes used for pheasants. Again, pheasant chicks. So we have a full line of that. I'd be glad to try to service the NAGA folks if they have an inquiry on that. We have a real small box for winter shipping. It's just a simple body, die cut body and a cover. And this actually has 1/16 inch holes, okay, for ventilation, because shipping in cooler weather, obviously you have to protect the birds, the chicks in particular. So that about covers it, but please look to our website or contact me via email, mark@frederickpkg.com. I'll be glad to try to help you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. And thank you for advertising with the North American Game Bird Association. We appreciate your support.
Okay. All the best.
Thanks. Very good. with me today, and we were going to talk about a product that you have to address this question of not taking either any disease from our farm to another farm or bringing it home. So I understand you have a crate. Why don't you tell me about your company first of all, and then we'll talk about your product.
Sure. Thanks, Peg. I appreciate you reaching out to us and giving us an opportunity to share about our products. We're very passionate about them. The company started 23 years ago as a custom rotational molding company. Two gentlemen were doing some custom work for other clients. And as time went on and there was a recession, they realized, hey, we need to design something that's ours and have a product that we put out there and we are in control of, and it doesn't go, necessarily
right.
All your bread and butter is based on if someone's going to put an order in with you. So then along came the Kennels, which you might be aware of, but with that, just outdoor products and making the outdoor adventures just more user-friendly, like you said, just ease of cleaning and just, for people to have all these different opportunities with whether it be birds or dogs or whatever they're doing. And obviously we live in South Dakota, so the pheasant is our state bird, and, you do a lot of hunting and bird transport and breeding and all of that around here as well. So just really neat to be able to branch out into different areas like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a transport box. Do you have a sample with you? Can you tell us about that?
Yep.
Wax eloquent on your product.
Yeah, and we call it the cackle box. Little play on words there.
Yeah.
And I feel what makes ours unique. First of all of our products are made in the USA, right here in South Dakota. We use a base material that is FDA food grade safe. So with that food grade safe comes certain antimicrobial properties, which is great for what we're talking about today, preventing diseases and spreading of diseases and transporting. And with these, they're super, and Pete can probably attest to this because like we had mentioned earlier, he uses them. I know him inside and out. I've been with the company for almost over 10 years now. And just ease of cleaning. Like, I really feel like we have such a superior product because it's a one-piece design. So you don't have the, where you have to put it together and you have all those little crevices and cracks and hinges and whatever. It's just a very clean, sleek design. It's lightweight. So easy to clean. You could
virtually indestructible.
Yeah, you could stand on them. You could run them over with your truck. And then
the quick load door on the side that I'm seeing.
Yep.
But, all right, and I can see the bottom. Once you flip it over, let us see the top of it.
Yep. So stackable. So
they're on top of each other.
Yep. Okay. No assembly required. And we work really hard as a company to keep our products affordable. So it's at a price point where virtually anybody should be able to afford the boxes. Even, other boxes that are out there, we tend to come in a little bit lower than them just because we are very conscientious of our bottom line and wanting to make things accessible to anybody who would want them.
And you have no problem shipping them anywhere in the U.S.?
Yeah, and even internationally. We've shipped overseas to Canada. We actually have a retail store up there. They've been purchasing a lot of them up in Canada. I don't know that we've shipped out down to Mexico or anything on the.
Did have somebody from the UK reach out about getting some as well. So
and branching into other countries as well.
Well, good. I'm scrolling your website along the bottom, and we will encourage our viewers to go there, check out your products. I also want to thank you for advertising with the North American Game Bird Association, being associated with us. And I'll do other programs on some of your other products at a later date. Today, we just really wanted to focus on having a transportable box that people can use to minimize contamination from another farm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with everything going around. You know,
you guys are in the center of a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's got to make people nervous, I tell you. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate Alisa and Pete, you being here with me today. Look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peg. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for being with us as we've explored 4 different options for a way to transport birds without bringing bacteria or diseases back home. We don't want to do that. And I appreciate you being with us. We are North American Game Bird Association. You can visit us online. And we will close out now. And thank you again for being with us.